here's an Oyster Reef tank update. I went on vacation, had a friend look after the fish and help feed them. And actually I extended the photo period for that time because I had to accommodate a range of times that my friend could be here to, take care of the fish. And look how much algae growth happened. That is just crazy. Not only, I wasn't getting any algae on the glass, but look at all that. So I have a little bit of gardening to do. This is my before shot. There's not a whole lot of room for the fish to swim unless they go through that stuff. So that's kind of cool. And I was a little concerned about the overflow while I was gone, but my friend definitely used the brush to keep that clean, I'm sure. The overflow is working just fine. Now we're gonna go check out how much algae is in the sump. I mean, I have to say, this looks really cool in the tank, the way it flows. I really like it, but it's just way too much. It was too much in the last video. So we're gonna go take a look at the sump and you'll see how it is covered top to bottom. I'll tell you that right now. So check this out. I don't know if you can see it, but that's a solid mat of algae on top, and it's growing, it looks like top to bottom from what I can tell. My water's kind of low. I need to fill it up or my pump's going to start cavitating. I get a lot of evaporation because I don't have a glass top on this tank. But anyway, so this is the before shot, and we'll do some pruning and gardening. I'll probably do it tomorrow, and then we'll have an after shot, and I'll clean the glass and get the tank looking good again. But I just wanted to show you the crazy algae growth that we're getting. It's not a bad thing, it's just a great way to export nutrients. And the extra photo period, I actually reduced it just this evening back to the 6-hour schedule. So once I clean that glass on the algae and export some of this stuff, the tank should be pretty algae clean on the display tank glass for quite a while. Anyway, that's the update so far, and next is the after shot. All right, here's half a 5-gallon bucket full of algae, that macroalgae that I pulled. It's about half of the red and almost all of the green, because that green will come back quick. Now all I have to do is sort through this, because I pulled a lot out of the sump, and make sure there's no critters in there that I don't want to flush down the sink here. So I'll be moving this, pretty much picking through it, looking for animals that I can save. And I'll let you know what I find. Okay, I'm glad I went through it. So that was the bucket the algae was in. I went through it piece by piece, and then I used a net to capture any critters that were in the water. But right off the bat, I pulled out a mud crab. He was the only critter that was in there. So some critters are in the algae. I was expecting to find some shrimp, but I didn't find any. But that is at least 3 pounds of algae. That's different macros, and that's, you can see it's a third of a 5-gallon bucket. That's what I removed today. So pretty cool how much growth there is. The crab I'm going to put in the sump. He's a little guy. The blunnies will eat him up if they see him. So he's going to go in the sump to get bigger. I'm going to show you the types of macros that I found in my tank, that I pulled out, that are still growing in my tank. Here are the different kinds. I don't know what species this is, but it's a very fine algae. And it branches, and it's very hairy-like. This is another type of macro that grows. This is a species of ulva. It's not the sea lettuce that we know, but it's another type of ulva, and I'll get the name of it and post it in the second half of the video after I show the results. But I thought that was pretty cool. Then I found a little piece of ulva growing in the sump. That's the regular sea lettuce, ulva lactica, I think is how you pronounce it. And then here's gracilaria. I have at least one species of gracilaria growing in the tank. There's another piece of ulva, it looks like. But I have at least one species. I'm not sure exactly what species it is. I listed what I thought it was in the stocking list. And what I'll have to do is get a better ID on it eventually. But all of this grows like crazy in the sump and in the tank. So even though I pulled a lot out, I'm sure in a few weeks I'll have plenty more. All right, in the next segment of this video, you're gonna see what my tank looks like after I did my gardening and cleaning. Hi everyone, so I'm back with a follow-up video. I showed you the before pic with all the crazy algae growth and the glass dirty after being on vacation. And now I'm going to show you the after. So I've had a chance to do a lot of pruning. Most of the green algae I've pulled out because it's going to grow back really fast. In fact, there was none and it's already growing. You can see it in the back flowing in the current. There's a little sediment in because I pruned a little more algae out. And the other big change is, since this is a Chesapeake Bay biotope aquarium, it wouldn't be complete without more fossils than I had in it. So this is pretty cool. I added a whale vertebra and a couple megalodon fragments. There's a megalodon tooth there. I threw in a bunch of shark's teeth. They're all just sitting on top now. They'll get mixed in as the crabs move around. There's another megalodon fragment. I've got a couple, there's a whale ear bone I added. So there's a couple whale ear bones in here. And the fish are all out front because they're hungry. And the fish are all out front because they're hungry. Already, this crab has moved the ear bone out. It didn't like it. The big, my big mud crab didn't like where I put that whale bone, ear bone, so I'll probably wind up moving it again. Hermit crab seems to be interested in it. That's pretty cool. Here's another whale ear bone. Yeah, so I think that looks pretty cool. We'll see what happens, what it looks like in a couple weeks with the fish and the crabs do to the tank. But my cavern is back. It's no longer full of algae. The fish have plenty of room to swim now. They're all doing good. They're just hungry. I now have the dry food on an automatic feeder every day, so they get a pinch of dry food every day. I'm about to feed them some frozen food, but they're all out in front waiting. Remember how the sump looked? I probably took half a 5-gallon bucket of algae out of it. There's still a bunch in there. All right, here's a post-feeding time clip. As you can see around the Forgot to mention around the megalodon shells, I scattered a bunch of small teeth, broken shark's teeth from my collection in here too. They're throughout the tank and they'll mix in with the sand eventually. But we're gonna watch these guys feed for a little bit and then conclude the video. One thing I like about watching the spot in the tank when they feed is they're like a cleanup crew. They're constantly scooping up mouthfuls of sand and moving it around. The mamachogs are just plain pigs. They'll eat everything. So all the food that I put in here, I put a lot in here too usually. It gets eaten up in just minutes. But everybody's scavenging right now. As you can see, that one whale earbone got pushed out by the crab. That's the only thing that, of the fossils I put in here, that they didn't like. So I'll find a new home for that whale earbone somewhere. Megalodon. Of course, I wouldn't put a full-sized megalodon tooth, a whole tooth in here, because that belongs in my fossil display. So maybe someday I'll do a video of my fossil display. I have a whole bunch of Riker mounts and fossils and all kinds of stuff. So the next time I display them, probably in September. But I wanted to give you that update. So we got the cavern back and we've got some real fossils. They'll look even better once they get some algae on them in the wild. When they're underwater for a long time, they look pretty much like this clam does right there. So that's what I hope it will look like in a short amount of time. So talk to you later, and thanks for watching.